Let's get the latest update from Washington on the ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine. Kate Fisher joins us live from Washington for the latest. Kate, good afternoon, South African time. Perhaps you could give us the latest on your end. What has been the reaction in the US with regards to the military supplies to Israel, perhaps as we're speaking?
Well, it's been swift reaction. Joe Biden speaking to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on the phone at least twice since this conflict erupted, also promising him extra ammunition, support militarily. He's ordered warships in the area to move towards Israel, towards the eastern Mediterranean, including an aircraft carrier as well. He's also told the Pentagon to supply more ammunition to the Israeli Defense Force. Specifically, this is a deterrent towards potential other actors in the region who might decide that this is a good time to try to start their own attacks on Israel, thinking particularly of Hezbollah in Lebanon. They want this show of American military support to act as a deterrent to those potential other actors. So it's one part support to show Israel that the US is standing with them, not just in words, but in action as well, but also to show the rest of the region that the US military might is present and could be used if any of these actors decided to do something to make things worse, make the conflict worse. So the US making it clear from the get-go that its commitment to Israel, one of its absolute closest ally in the Middle East, that its commitment is ironclad.
Okay, thank you for that update. We're also exploring possibilities and probabilities at this point. And we're trying to understand what should the role of the US be in resolving this long-standing conflict. What sentiments are emerging on that front? Is a two-state solution as a path to peace on the agenda once again?
Well, that's what the US has always said should be the ultimate solution to this conflict, that it would only be solved once and for all, it would hope, with a two-state solution. That has never washed with the Israelis, and it has got, as we know, not really progressed over the past decades, and the conflict between the two sides has rumbled on, but never have we seen during the history of this conflict such huge bloodshed inflicted by the Palestinian side, by Hamas. We should reiterate that this is militants from the Hamas group. This is not everyday Palestinians who have committed these atrocities. So this is certainly a change in the conflict situation. It's also interesting that the relationship between this US President Joe Biden and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has not been a terribly good one. They do not have a strong personal relationship. The US has been concerned about some of Netanyahu's recent policies, where he's tried to implement strict new judicial rules that many Israelis say are not democratic, and that has caused a rift potentially between the US and Israel. But now that this has happened, the US has come out very strongly. Joe Biden saying he supports Israel despite these tensions between him and Benjamin Netanyahu. The US policy is very clear that they are there to support Israel as much as possible. In terms of how this ends, it's impossible to predict. It's clearly nobody expected what's happened over this weekend, and therefore nobody knows how it is all going to play out.
Yeah, absolutely, Kate. Just as I wrap up this conversation, I wanted to look at the obligations of Israel and Palestinian armed forces, or armed groups rather, and even the allies at this point in fighting in populated civilian areas, and how international human rights law applies. Does it still apply at this point, given the volatility of the situation? What are some of the other areas of accountability as we try to make sense of where to from here?
Yeah, I think it's potentially too early to say, and it's something that I would not want to make a ruling on. It's something for the international authorities to decide as to whether war crimes or something has been committed. I think really it's an incredibly volatile moment. The Israeli Defense Forces are still trying to get the Hamas militants back into Gaza. They still haven't secured the border as yet. They still don't know how many militants remain in the country. So I think it is perhaps too early to work out what's going to happen in terms of accountability, and also that it's not just Israelis involved in this. Of course, we know that there are UK nationals, US nationals, other Thai nationals also involved, whether they are people who have been killed or taken hostage by Hamas militants. So it is still a very confusing picture, and it is perhaps too early to say how the accountability will be decided.